We all know why he's playing this week. That's because the Jets defense, as far as on third downs, are the worst in football. And by the way, the Jets are the worst team when it comes to stopping the friggin' run. And guess who their running back is? His last name's Taylor, who, by the way, is 100% healthy going into this week. They are going to absolutely crush the New York Jets this week. And why not bring Richardson back? Because guess what? Go look at the Jets against running quarterbacks this season. They're putrid. And what is Anthony Richardson's strength right now? It is running the ball. He doesn't even have to throw the ball. So guess what? If you're a betting man, I bet Anthony Richardson will have over 60 yards running. I bet you Taylor will have over 100 yards. This is good, guys, if you want to be a betting man. And the Jets are going to give up over 150 yards of rushing. Book it, seal it, and probably about 25 or more points. The New York Jets are an absolute disgrace. And Aaron Rodgers, there's no excuse. But again, Anthony Richardson obviously is the best, gives them the best chance to win. I do believe that they're going to sneak into the playoffs. This is an AFC that's back and forth. There's really no bright, great teams besides the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs, and maybe the Buffalo Bills. That's it. I don't trust Pittsburgh because I don't trust Russell Wilson. I don't trust the Bengals because they're up and down every single week. I don't trust a lot of these AFC teams. Maybe the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. I don't know. There's no guarantees. There's only 3 guarantees in the AFC. It's a very weak conference. And we would have thought that the AFC was going to be absolutely loaded this year. Miami is not the team that we thought they were going to be because Tua wasn't 100% healthy. We can go up and down the Browns and where we thought the Browns were going to be with or without Watson, with the talent that they had. They were a borderline playoff team. They stink. Okay, so again, I can go up and down the AFC conference. There's nothing really to preach about or say anything about. Joe Flacco's an old man. He's a fill-in player. He is, I believe, one of the more respected quarterbacks in the NFL, and that's why he still has a job. And that's why he is a good backup in the NFL. But again, Anthony Richardson, you're gonna die with the quarterback with him. If Anthony Richards doesn't show up for the rest of the season, I don't care what anybody believes an Indianapolis Colts organization is going to say. They're going to be looking for a quarterback. They're going to be looking for a guy in this year's draft in the later rounds where you can pick up. And if Anthony Richardson starts the season or loses his job early in the preseason next year, he will be done. It's pretty sad where these quarterbacks are going. All these first-round draft pick quarterbacks we've seen over the last couple of years. There has been, I would say, in the last 5 years, 4 good quarterbacks to come out of the draft that became stars in the league? It's sad. It really is. It's been a really, really long process to see and trying to predict who's going to be a good NFL quarterback and who's not. Caleb Williams, we still don't know. We don't know what Caleb Williams is going to be. We don't know where the quarterback class is going to be from this year's class. Again, we all know what Janie Daniels looks like, but C.J. Stroud looked really, really good. He was record-breaking his first year, and he's been up and down this year. But I still think C.J. Stroud is going to figure things out because he's got a tremendous amount of talent. It's really, really bad. And Anthony Richardson, you got to ride and die with the guy that you drafted.
I want to bring up a third great player on that offense, Errol, and his name's Quentin Nelson. That's the guy that I actually wanted the Giants to take instead of Saquon Barkley that draft. I thought they could trade back and still get Quentin Nelson and let people take quarterbacks. I think I was right. And we would have avoided this whole situation completely. And maybe drafted Nick Chubb, traded back up into the first round and got in Chubb and Nelson, which is the way in my brain it was going to work. Instead, now we have absolutely nothing. Look, Flacco is better than Richardson right now, but Richardson's who they put the draft capital on. They're like 3+. I think they're 3 games out behind the Texans, who have been falling apart. So it's not like the division's completely out of reach, but it's basically out of reach. And it's unlikely that they'll make the playoffs unless something magical happens. So might as well see what you can get out of Richardson. You're not going to get much more out of Flacco. You know what he is at this point. He's not going to win any hard games, but he'll be able to take you through the easy ones. So what does that do? Get you a worse draft pick and you still suck. So they don't want to play him, and they got to go with Richardson. I'm sure this comes from on high because I'm sure Steichen doesn't want to deal with somebody who's going to go. I believe 2 weeks ago he went 1 for 14 passing in the first half, something like that. Just really atrocious numbers. He was like 44% for the game. He's not there right now. So look, everyone thinks he's a running quarterback with a cannon arm. They got to build some kind of special offense for him. It's just not ready right now. Look, he also could have been still trying to come back from that shoulder. Like
he
you
will
said,
be out of the NFL in 2 years. I am guaranteed. And by the way, Keith, you're going out there. Oh, so you're saying Richardson's not good and the Colts are a good team? No, I didn't say that. Maybe let's get the wax out of your ears here. I am telling you that the AFC is weak. And even with Anthony Richardson and their running game, they could still make the playoffs with garbage quarterback play. You got it, Keith? I think I sunk that a little bit too deep into your brain. Maybe I need to hammer it like a nail in there.
Yeah, no, Fish, I think you're right, too. Just looking at his numbers, he's at, 44% this year and obviously 7 interceptions to 4 touchdowns. But I think you're going to have to ride with him. I mean, that's where you put it. I don't think there's anything that he will do or not do where they don't just ride him the rest of the way unless he gets hurt again. I think that's the only way you don't do it. And, I mean, I think that was more of a PR move when he said, as far as everybody didn't lose confidence in him, blah, blah, blah. It's just, I mean, I think that was more of a CYA thing than it was anything else. And, to have him come back. And like you said, he may have been still dealing with his shoulder and whatever, but it'll be interesting to see how it holds up. But I think you're obviously going to have to ride with him because, I mean, Flacco at the same time, you know exactly what you're going to get. And Richardson may figure it out and see what happens. But I don't see – I think he's going to be in the league longer than a couple years. I wouldn't say it's going to be lengthy.
Okay, here, I'm sorry. I'll clean that up. He is going to be a backup quarterback in 2 years.
Okay.
So that's where I think he's not a starting quarterback. I think he's proven that. I think his shoulder is not what it was last year. You can see the difference in his variety of throws. He can throw it down the field. It's not accurate. And I do, even though he's become one-dimensional. Every time you see him on a field, teams know he's one-dimensional. So what are they doing? They're making him use his legs. And when you become one-dimensional in the NFL, it doesn't work. And that's it. Lamar Jackson has proven that he is not one-dimensional. He can throw the ball. He can actually put enough spin on the ball. And he's accurate now. And he can run. And he's unstoppable using his legs. That's what they think Anthony Richardson is. There has never been a player besides Michael Vick. And Michael Vick was not even as elusive as Lamar Jackson. But Michael Vick was the last player you can compare to Lamar Jackson. Anthony Richardson is not Lamar Jackson. He's not even close.
I don't know about Anthony Richardson. I think he's a turnover machine. I think this week he's going to have a boatload of turnovers. Coming back, his teammates aren't probably going to play as hard, being as he did tap out. I also think this is vintage. Aaron Rodgers has like 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, and says, hey, we're still in this. Just to get in the news headlines, this is a vintage Aaron Rodgers heavy, high passing accuracy game and has a lot of touchdowns.